Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Finite's Sake. This is the A to Z of crafting, so there's 26 episodes. This is C for confidence in crafting. And before we start, you can see this little thing here, and you can hear me a lot better. I stole my boyfriend's microphone, so yeah, the sound quality is a lot better now. I'm not gonna lie, it's really, really distracting. Like I'm really tempted to look down. And the clap at the beginning was to sync my audio up with the video. And it's a clap. And I learned a fun fact last night when I was learning it all. So when you're watching a film and like the outtakes, or when you're filming and you see the clapper cards, like I honestly, before this, I thought they were I thought they were for the film crew to know what take they were on, like take 1, take 2, but they were the same as this to sync the sound up to the video. So I thought that was like a really fun fact. Hopefully it is, and you find it fun too. I don't know. So when I say confidence in crafting, that means like a lot of things. So I'm gonna try and subcategorize them. I think the first one I'm going to go with is confidence in wearing things that you've made. So I made this shift dress and it's my favourite thing. I feel amazing in it. I wore it in a time when I wasn't feeling amazing, and I made it in a time when I wasn't feeling amazing. And it was just after hospital and things, and I was not feeling that great about myself. And then I made this, and I felt confident when I was wearing it. And if I was just to put something from my wardrobe on, I don't think I would have felt the same. Like, it was my first outing after hospital, and I just felt so amazing and so confident. And it was back in summer, so I wasn't wearing a sleeve thing under it, and I was wearing this, some like white flower socks and my Dr. Martens, and yeah, I just felt amazing. And it's a 60s inspired shift dress that I self-drafted, and I have this top. So it's very 60s at the moment, like the shift dress and this, and then I've got these earrings. And that's another thing, confidence in making clothes for yourself. It comes along with confidence in buying accessories to complement the things that you've made. Like before, I would just wear one pair of earrings for everything. But now I'm thinking, oh, I can wear this pair of earrings or this necklace to go with this dress. Because I was never really into like accessorizing before, but since I've started to make my own clothes, I feel you've put this effort in, you've paid the money, you're gonna have it forever. So buy things, accessories that match that sense of making something for yourself. Buy nice things to complement the nice thing that you've made for yourself. Yeah. I'll put the link below for these. They're polymer clay, and they're like a 60s flower. And back then I had like short hair, so I did look proper 60s because I really, really like 60s fashion. I have some wax print fabric that I want to make a shift dress out of. It's really bright green, it's got pink, and yeah, I really, really want to make a shift dress out of that too. Also, confidence in making your own clothes when you're outside. The confidence of just genuinely wearing them, trusting that they're not going to split when you bend over. Yeah, confidence just generally wearing your clothes, and trusting your skills. That is a confidence thing as well. Because the first time I made this, I was like, oh God, is something like, you know what I mean? And especially if you like haven't made trousers yet, but the fear of wearing trousers that I've made in public, just yeah, I have a bit of fear about that, because what if I bend over and it just snaps, the stitch snaps or something. Yeah, have you worn clothes that have split in public? I hope not, because let's be honest, like a sewing machine's very strong, so I don't think that's really going to happen. I think I'm just being irrational. I think also when you're making your own clothes, the confidence to pick things the confidence to buy fabric that you wouldn't buy in a shop, like a dress, for example. So you're in a shop and you see a dress and you think, oh, I can't get away with that. But when it comes to making your own clothes, you do pick fabrics you wouldn't normally go for, like bright, vibrant, or even if it's like black, like nice black velvet or something. I do think when you make your own clothes, like sewing, you do pick fabrics that are kind of out of your comfort zone, but in a good way, because it's nice to make clothes for yourself, or like bags, or just general sewing things with nice fabric. It just makes the experience nicer. So I do think confidence comes with getting used to that fabric while you're working with it and then wearing it and just feeling amazing because you've made it and it's nice fabric. Whereas before, you just go into a shop and buy it and they feel like, oh, I don't know about this, and they wouldn't really wear it that much. So yeah, I think that's another thing as well. Bright, vibrant things, or like black velvet, or weird fabric like suede or something you wouldn't normally wear. So I think that comes in time, the confidence of wearing that, because you do spend a lot of time making clothes, and in that time you get used to the fabric and you get used to everything about it. And then you're really proud to wear it out and about as well. So yeah, confidence buying, confidence crafting it as well, like the confidence in learning something. And even if you get it wrong, you still go back to it because you want to get your like clothing finished. So it just all comes in time, confidence and crafting and getting better. Like, I'm going to make another shift dress, even though this was just my basic first thing that I've sewn. It's still my favourite, even though it's just my first thing and it's just a basic shift dress and it's not even got bias binding on the collar or anything, but I just love the simplicity of it. I wear it quite a lot. I've got some pink snag tights as well that I wear with it for winter, so that's pretty cool. And another thing that I made around the time I wasn't feeling great about myself was a skirt from the same fabric as this, but the opposite side. So this is on duvet cover, so it was a reverse the duvet cover, and I wore that my like cafe outing thing. And then I wasn't feeling good about my legs because my legs had massively swelled up, and then they were still healing. So I didn't feel good about my legs, but I was wearing this skirt and this nice top with it, so I did feel really, really confident. Despite not feeling confidence in my body, I felt confidence in the clothes I was wearing, so I was able to walk with pride because of that. And the same thing goes with if I was just to get something out my wardrobe, I don't think I would have felt the same confidence I had when I made the thing myself. And then I was at a night out, like a mocktail night out, and I wore that with my Dr. Martens, again, summer sono tights, Dr. Martens, white flowery socks, and like a strapless red and white top here. And this drunk lady was like, I love your style, keep doing what you're doing. So like the confidence in like wearing your things, and in confidence when people talk to you, because if you're into crafting and all this sort of stuff, people do talk to you about it. And yeah, but strangers complimenting your outfits is like the best thing ever, because when I was at Harrogate Knit and Stitching Show, I wore my crochet red jumper, and one of the ladies who was doing like a lesson was like, I love your jumper. And I was like, thanks, I made it. And like just the community around people that recognise that you've made something as well. Yeah, so making things and things like that, like you do talk to people, and that makes you confident as well. It's kind of like if you've got a dog, you have to talk to people because you've got a dog, or strangers walk by and pat your dog and talk to you about your dog. So it's kind of like the same thing when you make clothes, because you have to stop and talk about your clothes and things like that. But it's a good stopping to talk, not like it's a good thing to stop and talk about clothes or your dog. And you just get that special feeling when you make something as well. Like I can't describe that feeling because it's a feeling only you get when you make something for yourself. So it's kind of weird trying to explain that feeling. But if you make clothes or even toys or anything for yourself or for others, or you just get a special feeling inside. And I think that just comes with making stuff. Generally, it just comes. It's really hard to explain the feeling, like happiness, content, pride, confidence, like loads of things, like all just bunched together in like a really positive feeling. And so we've talked about sewing clothes and making clothes. The next thing I want to talk about is knitting in public. Because generally, like I don't like people. I can't stand people. But I like knitting in public, and there's been so many occasions where people have like talked to me about knitting, like, oh, my gran used to knit, or like, what are you knitting, or I like that yarn. And then you talk to them about it, and it's like, oh, but one crochet lady, back before I could crochet, I was knitting in a pub, and she's like, oh, I love your yarn. I was like, and I said, she said to me, I love your yarn. And I was like, I love your scarf. And she's like, she crocheted it herself. So we had like a little conversation about like yarns, and I told her what yarn it was, and she went away and like she'd written it down. And so it's like a little community full of confident people. Yeah, when I did first start knitting in public, I was really, really shy and I wouldn't do it. But now it's like, it's my thing. Like people are on their phones in public when they're waiting for a train. My thing is to knit. I get really bored on my phone, honestly. I don't know what to do on it. Like, what do I go on? What do I even do with it? But with knitting, I can have my music on and have like my knitting and have my own little bubble. So I love it for that. And it's great for travelling as well, because Getting on long train journeys is really good for knitting in public. I do tend to do simple patterns when knitting in public for just in case there's a distraction or something like that. And I can't really count stitches in public, so I just do a basic knit or purl pattern, not something that's got do this many stitches on this row, this many stitches. I just do something really simple so I can just switch off and have a nice time. Next is, it's the same with the community of crafters. So the next thing, confidence going into craft shops, because you don't just go in a craft shop, buy yarn and leave. You go into a craft shop, talk to people, maybe even show them pictures of things you made, or like touch yarn weirdly. Right, this is a nice yarn. So yeah, like I do think when you're in a craft shop, you are yourself properly. Like you're able to talk comfortably about like your craft because you with people that understand. So you can just be completely open and honest, and you can even be a little bit weird, and that's all right because they're kind of weird too. So I think people who craft just kind of get other crafters, and it's like a little community. And it's the same when you go to craft fairs and things like that. You just get talking to people, and it's not an awkward talk. It's just like you just feel really comfortable in yourself because they understand you and they're bouncing off your energy, you're bouncing off their energy, and it's just a really nice experience talking to strangers who understand. And again, talking to strangers who don't understand, you just feel like you got something special that just you can do. So that's a really confidence boosting thing as well. Because before I could knit, I thought knitters were amazing, and they are. But as a non-knitter, I just found like they're so skilled, and people do say that about me. Sometimes, well, most of the time, you make something for yourself and you notice flaws in it, but everyone else is like, "That is perfect. That's amazing. How did you do that? That's amazing." And you're like, "But it's got this one stitch. It's a bit misaligned." But they don't see that. It's like with this dress. No mistakes were made in it, but I did slip a little bit on the collar. Like the stitches are straight, and there's one stitch that's not straight, and it's straight. There's one stitch, and I'm always like, everyone can see that. So I make sure I put that at the back when I'm putting the dress on. Like I always look at it, and I'm like, okay, that's the back, that's the front. But honestly, no one sees it apart from you. So it's such a weird thing to, like, you feel confident because you made something, but at the same time, it's like, you're like, oh, it's got that one flaw. And eventually you do switch off to that one flaw. But at the time you're like, that one flaw. And sometimes it might stop you from like wearing it or using it or gifting it. But it shouldn't, because people who can't craft and sew and all this, they do think it's an amazing thing to do. The next thing, I think, confidence in gifting. So confidence in gifting something to someone that you've made, confidence in feeling that they're going to appreciate it, and it's again, I think just generally crafting just makes you feel like nice. It's like a nice feeling crafting. And then, but it does take the confidence to gift to someone because people do say like people appreciate handmade gifts, but some people don't. So that can put you off, but it shouldn't. Just don't craft something for that person again. Seriously. Yeah, so confidence in picking the right colours or fabric for that person. And again, confidence in working with something that you're not used to, because if you're making a gift for someone, it might not be something that you like, and it might be colours that you hate, but you've got to be confident that you're going to finish it, and you've got to enjoy the experience of making something out of your comfort zone. And this feeling of you've made something, it makes you excited to give the present more than it is for you to receive something. So you'd like, open this, I've made you, and they're like, no, open my present. It's like, no, open this first, I made it. So you do get like a little, I don't know, it's just a little feeling inside that, yeah, like making other people happy just from something you've done is just a nice feeling. I've gifted many things over the years and I've really enjoyed making them all. I learned some things from them as well. Like I never want to work with polycotton again because no matter what your tension is on your sewing machine, the stitches always pull. Like it's always like got little stitches where the stitches are, and it's kind of see-through and it's not good. So I don't work with polycotton anymore, just 100% cotton. So yeah, you're constantly learning as a crafter as well, which I think is great for building your confidence. Especially in knitting, there's so many knitting things that I don't know yet, and I'm really looking forward to doing it. And it just takes confidence to, again, step out of your box and try something new in your craft, because it's okay if you want to just like like knit blankets or whatever. But for me personally, I want to go out of my comfort zone and learn brioche, learn other things, like stunning colour work I want to learn. So there's loads of things I want to learn that's around knitting, but I don't know yet. And it does take confidence to go out of your comfort zone and make something. And also, when you're learning this, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, and you can't beat yourself up about it because that's just part of learning. And also, like, you're learning, so you're not making, because you might make something and put it all out. So you're using your precious making time to learn something new, which is good. And on the note of putting things out, like, it's okay to do that. And again, that takes confidence. Because you might have done like a full panel for a jumper and you've got to pull the entire thing out, which I did yesterday. Going to knit and natters. So I've been to 2 knit and natters in different towns that I've lived in. It feels different to go into a craft show or like someone talking to you in like a cafe or whatever, because you're stepping into like a community where people already know each other and you're like the new person. So it does take confidence going into something like that, but then it doesn't take long to feel comfortable and confident in yourself, because again, you're with people that completely understand you, which is I just feel like the knitting community, the crochet, the sewing, everything craft related, everyone's really open and everyone wants to teach you more. So you go to a knit and natter and you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this, and they'll just show you, and like that is just, I don't know, that's really nice. I think it's partly to keep it going as well, because with the modern technology is getting like crazy, and knitting and crochet are really old fashioned technically, like it's a granny hobby. So yeah, having the confidence to do like an old person hobby generally, and like having the confidence to like teach people about it and not be afraid to say like you love knitting. Because there's two feelings I have about like knitting and crochet. Like, it's, you're confident, but then you might feel like you're bragging. Like, it's just, I don't know. I think I need to get past that. But yeah, I don't think I do brag, because people around me like the things I make, and no one like seems sick of me yet. It's like I went to a party and I altered the dress. And I told my friend I altered it before I went, and she was like, every person that came, she's like, look, she made this, she altered it, and she was showing every single person. I did feel a bit braggy then, but at the same time confident. So it's like, you know, it's a strange feeling. It's good crafting feeling, and there's also like the weird, strange feeling where you do feel a bit better than everyone else because you can do this skill. Yeah, you do though. Some of the things I've gifted, not in order because I can't remember what order I gave them in. So the first one is I knit Stephen our dog Jack, and I really enjoyed that, and that was the first time that I learned how to make one right. So M1R and M1L. Yeah, like this. I'm talking about this flaw thing again. So you're confident, but then you do see flaws in your work. It's stuffed really badly. Since I've done that, I've kind of learnt how to do stuffing properly, but you can get away with it because it's a big floppy massive thing, so it's okay. So yeah, everything's a learning curve, which is really good for boosting your confidence as well. And then I knitted Stephen the lamb, and obviously everyone here, people who watched my previous videos, I talk about this lamb a lot. So I was making a lamb for Stephen for Christmas, and I started with this pattern that was very complicated, and I kept going, and I was getting really frustrated. And then part of me was like, just pick a simple pattern that you can enjoy. So I knitted quite a lot of this previous pattern, the complicated one at the time, and I honestly just threw it away, just in a bin. So yeah, you got to have confidence in trusting what you can do as well, and what you can't. Like, you've got to know your limits as well. Like, it's fun to learn, but don't rush yourself learning. Like, take your time and pick up something properly and then move on to the next thing. Yeah, I should listen to my own advice. I learned Magic Loop and I'm like, oh, I can knit socks now. To be fair, I can now. Oh god, they should just be called braggy bragging in crafting. And then I also did an apron for Stephen out of old jeans. He loved it and I love it now, but that was just awful to work on. It took me like 6 months. It was supposed to be for his birthday, but like I just gave up. It's old jeans, so some parts had the original like stitching on, so it was really, really thick. I snapped many needles, jammed the machine up many times, but eventually I did finish it. Yeah. The next thing, like this is like proper confidence, because I had no idea how to do this when I did it. I made Mum a quilt. So it was like our craft rooms combined. It's me knitting on it because she taught me how to knit. So it's little mini me knitting, and then it's like my craft. Back then I had bunting, like floral bunting, and she's got Union Jack in her room, so it's like half floral, half Union Jack. So the Union Jack's like little mini knitted ones, which I could do, but the quilt I couldn't do. So I just learnt as I went along, and I think that took a lot of confidence. I am quite impatient. Like I say, I should listen to my advice. I am quite impatient when it comes to learning new things. Like I don't want to waste time just knitting a square. Like I cannot understand people that do gauge swatches at all. It's just precious crafting time what they're doing. So yeah, I made this quilt and it turned out really good, and I did finish it on time too, so that was good. And then I made my brother an apron for Christmas 2 Christmases ago. I went a bit crazy then. I made everyone in my family a present, and I was quite new to sewing still then, so you can see my progress through the presents, and the apron was the best thing that I made. Like so straight, and it was like this pasta fabric, like corduroy, really, really nice. I love doing that. Knitted my nephew a bear head. Yeah, that made him so happy, so that was good too. Nate made my nephew a cushion cover, and this was the one where I learned like polycotton's awful. But Leon, if you're watching this, like it's still a good cushion, but polycotton is awful, just in case, you know. Because you do like sewing a little bit, don't use polycotton, alright? And I hand painted some, because I do art. I'm an art teacher and I studied art in uni and college. I've kind of had a creative block since coronavirus happened, to be honest. But years and years ago, I hand painted some hearts for my sister-in-law, and I think like 10 years ago or something like that. And she still got them like hanging. So that just, I love that. Then I sewed my sister a basket, again with polycotton, because this was when I was making everyone presents. But because I backed it onto wadding and cotton fabric, you can't tell that it's polycotton, so that's okay. Yeah, because like I guess you gotta have confidence, because you're spending money as well, so you gotta be confident to spend money on things. Like I have some fabric that I want to use, but I'm so scared because I spent money on it, and what if I mess it up? But then you've got to just move past that and make it and use it, and if it goes wrong, it's okay. Yeah, just go for it. Basically, go for it. I'm giving a lot of mixed messages in this, aren't I? Go for it. Don't go for it too much. Learn something. Go for it. No, don't. I'm all over the place. And then the next thing, I made my friend a baby blanket. And that was also, again, a learning thing. So I wanted to learn granny stitch, and I did. I think when it comes to crochet and knitting for learning, it's good to knit something not too big in knitting, because knitting a scarf is pretty boring. And I've heard people learn knitting and get put off because they knitted a scarf. But knitting something that you're going to use, or crocheting something that you're going to use in the future for learning. Like I knit a square and turn it into a snake. So you don't want your first make to be something you're going to throw in the bin. You want your first make to be something you're going to look at with pride, even though it's awful. Like my little green snake. You can see where I've put his face in, and it's a bit bobbly, but I don't care, because I'm so happy from that. Like I love it so much, and I don't ever want to lose that. And the last thing, I think I've made more than this, but I honestly can't remember. I made 2 hearts, one for Stephen for our anniversary. So every year I'm making something as like an anniversary present. And then I made the same heart for my friend's wedding. So it was Scottish colours. It's a Scottish coloured heart, so it's blue and white together. And I actually Googled the Scottish flag colour, and I found the colour for that. So it's just a Scottish knitted heart. That was just like self-drafted, but I did that. And that is my making, aka me bragging about everything that I've made. I don't think I have a favourite that I've gifted because I love them all and make everyone so happy in different ways. One more thing about making your own clothes, right? You walk differently. Like you just feel like different. Like if you're new to crochet or knitting or sewing, like make yourself a bit of clothing and you'll just fall in love with the craft completely and yourself. Like I'm wearing this now in the house with makeup and earrings. But once I've finished filming, I'm not going to take it off. I'm going to leave everything on because I feel amazing in this. I do have bare legs with fluffy socks on, but you know, this bit looks good. Because I do wear my pyjamas a lot, so I feel nice in this. So maybe I should make more clothes to feel nice in. I've actually cut them out. I do have some pyjama trousers that I want to sew as well. The fabric is Blue Monkeys and it's an old duvet cover, and I love old duvet covers. I need to listen to my own advice again and buy fabric that I'm going to use. The thing with me is like I'm 5'9", so when I bought that nice African wax fabric, it was real life in the knitting stitching show, and I said to the lady, how much fabric do I need? And she's like, because you're tall, you need 3 meters. And she said everyone else needs 2 meters. So you're spending a lot more. I guess it's the same if you're like quite a big size as well. You spend more on yarn, you spend more on fabric. So tall or big, you spend more on fabric, and that's all right because, you know, you can have it forever. So just forget about the money. That's really bad advice. But buy something that is treating yourself. Don't just use old duvet covers. I'm trying to really hard to like not use old duvet covers. Buy fabric that you love and you will make something with. And if you don't use it, okay. If you don't use it first, that's okay, because it is really daunting having nice stuff and being scared to use it. Yes. And before I go, I thought I would do a ceremonial throwing the old microphone in the bin. This is a microphone. Okay, I'm going to talk about it a little bit because, you know, it did help me. I bought this when I first got into YouTube, and it was £15, and I didn't want to spend any money on something that I don't want to waste money, because what if YouTube didn't go well, or what if I didn't enjoy doing it? So I bought the basic microphone, and it has held its purpose. But goodbye. Also, I have the cutest bin in the world. It's Are you ready? Yeah. I would give it to a charity shop, but honestly, I don't think people would know what that is. And yeah. So that's the end of the podcast. Episode 4 is going to be designers. So that will be my favourite pattern designers for sewing, knitting designers, crochet designers. And I'm currently crocheting a cardigan by one of my favourite designers. So hopefully I'll finish that in time. And so that is next Monday as well. So every episode is Monday. And what about you? Like, how do you feel in your crafting? Are you confident? Are you still kind of getting used to being an awesome crafter? How do people around you find your crafting? Have you gifted anything? What's your favourite gift? Just let me know generally, like, how your crafting world is. Like, do you go to knit and natters? Do you make things for yourself or others? Like, I do make presents, but not as much as other knitters. I know people that just knit for other people. I'm like, I had to try and not say anything so hard. I want to be like, what? You don't make anything for yourself? What's wrong with you? Yeah, right. Okay, if you're watching this and you are one of those people, that's okay. All right. Thank you for watching. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like. And if you're new, please subscribe. And I look forward to speaking to you next week. And let me know in the comments below what your crafting world is like. Because it's a little community on here, real life, craft shops, knitting natters, and it'd be nice to know what everyone else's. It'd be nice to know what you would get up to in your precious crafting time. All right, thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed my buttery voice. Bye.